For just a second, I'd like to break down songwriting into its two most simple forms, music and lyrics. And listen, that may sound simple. And what I hope is by talking about the simplest forms of songwriting, we might be able to see lyrics or music in a way that we haven't seen them before. So lyrics, textbook definition, expressing the writer's emotions, usually briefly and in stanzas or recognized forms. So lyrics are the words that we say in a song. Music or melody is the way that we get people to listen to those words. So if lyrics are the words we say, then I would say music is the way that we get those words into the hearts of the people who listen to our music. Now, a great song almost always has a great lyric and a great melody. So a great song has got to be saying something that people want to hear in a way that they want to hear it, riding on a melody that rings true to the listener's emotions. I like to look at great songwriting in the combination of music and lyrics as being literally a translator, an interpreter. In 3 minutes, we create something that when someone hears it, it relates to some experience that they've had that they with their own words can't describe. But when they hear that 3-minute song, they say, whatever I'm feeling right now, that's it. That interprets or translates this feeling that I've had inside, this experience that I had before. And boom, that's my song. That's my song. That's what we want as songwriters. And it's the combination of music and lyrics working together that accomplishes that or doesn't. Now you may say to yourself, Jason, why so touchy-feely? Why are you talking about how things make you feel so much? Isn't music very technical? I've worked really hard to learn how to play my instrument. I've worked really hard to learn music theory. What's with all the touchy-feely stuff? Well, it's a really interesting fact. The average person can go through music classes in elementary school, in middle school, in junior high and high school. They can get an undergraduate degree in music. They can get a graduate degree in music. They can even get a doctorate in music. And I'll almost bet you that they've never been asked on one exam, what does it feel like to sing this lyric or this melody over this chord progression? What does it feel like to hear this lyric sung over that melody? And guess what? What something feels like is the only thing that makes somebody stop the car and buy a piece of music on iTunes or walk into a record shop and buy a piece of vinyl. I would almost bet you that it's never because of how technically amazing it was played, but how it related to something in that person's own life that they wanted to feel again. So yeah, I get a little touchy-feely, but guess what? All those gold and platinum records on the wall back there have way more to do with how something feels than how technically perfect a piece of music was. I guarantee you. This is the great thing about songwriting, is that you don't have to be technically fantastic at lyrics or at music to be really successful at this. You just have to try and learn the science of interpreting people's feelings and giving them a moment that they will match with one of their experiences or one of the feelings that they've had. My simplest instruction on how to write a great lyric is to write something that moves you, that either excites you, thrills you, makes you think deeply, makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you want to scream and yell and dance, or makes you want to sit and reflect and remember. My simplest instruction on melody is to try every option with the words that you're saying. Try every option with the words that you're singing. Take the melody to wherever your heart is feeling the words. Try everything and then try again and keep singing those words over and over. Different chord progressions, different rhythms, snapping your fingers, tapping your foot, slapping your knee, trying anything and everything to create that unique moment of synergy between the words and the music. That boom, that is what I wanted to say. And the way that music makes me feel is exactly how I want the listener to feel when they hear those words. That's the goal. There's no secret to it. You just got to work it and work it and work it until it feels right. And then once you get it to where you think it feels right, then you play it for other people. And believe me, they'll tell you if they think it feels right or not. So lyrics are the things we say, and music is that vehicle that carries the things we say into the hearts of those people who listen to our music. Both equally important. And it doesn't matter whether you write melody first or whether you write lyric first. You've got to get there with both, and you will. Keep working it with your heart wide open, being vulnerable to every emotion, and tell that story and work that melody until you sing, dance, laugh, or cry. And man, when it works, when the music and the lyrics work together, there's nothing that feels better than to create the perfect synergy of those two things. So work, 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 work. That's what it takes. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. The more you do it, the better you'll get, and the more people will like what you create, and the more people you'll get to. Let's go. Hey, and one thing I don't want you to be concerned about right now at this point in the game is whether you consider yourself more of a lyric person, more of a melody or music person. Some people play instruments, some people don't. One of my favorite co-writers ever is purely a lyricist, and every song that I've written with him is me coming up with a melody because he sees that as a strength of mine, and he immediately dives into working on the lyric, and he's wildly successful for 5 decades, wildly successful. So just don't say to yourself, man, I write really great poems, I write really great lyrics, but I really don't know much about music. Or I've played an instrument my whole life, but I don't really know much about words and how to express myself. Well, you need to get better at both, and you will. But don't worry that you're better at one than the other right now. We're going to talk about co-writing, writing with other people in future episodes. But for now, do what you do and get better at each thing that you do, one step at a time.